could see that at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a background to my character. I have all my layers over here. You can see that I have a layer for every color, the skin, the staff, the eyes, the tongue, the everything. And, you know, I can make them appear and disappear as I like. Everything's been saved already. I did do the shading on this. You don't have to do the shading on it, but if you want to do the shading on it, I would do this before you add a background. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my browser. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into another window and just go to, for me, I use Google for most of the things. I'll look for a picture for the background. You know, again, that's up to you what you want to do. I think mine will be, I'll do something a little bit different. Acropolis of Athens. I'll look at images, and I'll look for, you know, I'll look for one that I like. Maybe I'll try Acropolis, Athens sunset. Yeah, these are good. So what I'll do is I'll click on one, I'll take a real quick look at it. Now you got to understand that some of these images are just stills from a video. So you want to get in there and be able to save image as. So if it doesn't let you save it as an image, sometimes you can only save it as a web address. That just means that the picture itself is a video, or it's been protected from being copied. So I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to go back to my Photopea and back to my project as I have it. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Open, and I will find my photograph, my Jpeg preferably, and open it up. Okay, so I have my background that I've chosen. And now I'm going to go back to my little drawing. Now, I could do it one of two ways. Either way you want to do it, it's up to you. But what I'm going to do with my actual comic here is, first things first, I want to cut it out. Basically, get rid of all the background and everything else like that. So how am I going to do that? First things first, I got to make the whole thing one layer. So I'll click on any layer in my layers window, and then I'm going to hold down the Control key, the Shift key, and then tap the letter E. Control, Shift, and tap the letter E. What you've noticed, if you were watching, is that in my layer window, all of my layers have now been compressed into one layer. Okay? I'll undo that real quick, and I'll do Control, Shift, and the letter E, like for everything. And when I do that, it's merge layers, and it'll merge all my layers into one. So this is one flat piece of work. You don't have all the different layers for the colors. Very important that you save your work before you do this. The next thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the white behind my character, or whatever it is, whitish gray. I'm going to go to a tool called the Magic Wand tool. All right. I'll click on the Magic Wand tool. It's the third one down. Could be hiding under different tools, but I'm going to grab this one. It looks like a little sparkler almost. And I'm going to click on an area. All right. You see when I've clicked on that area, it's selected it. Now, in selecting it, it selected everything that was very similar to that area. If I clicked on the helmet, it would select an area that's very similar to one another. So it kind of tries to look for similar colors within a range. I want the background. When you see I click on this, it gets a lot of it, doesn't necessarily get all of it. You can adjust that by going up to the tolerance. I'll try this tolerance now at a higher number. I'll try 80, and then I'll try clicking again. It doesn't get any more. I'll try it on this side. Takes a little bit more, but now you can see at 80, it's starting to select some parts of my drawing. If I hit delete, you'll see that it erases everything that's selected. But if it accidentally takes apart, like in this case, my toga was too similar, it'll erase part of that. So I'll undo that. I'll try it again at, let's try 70. and I'll click, and now when I click on the tolerance being 70, you see it kind of selects almost all of the area. This time it gets a little bit of the arm, which is again still a problem. I click on the background, and I click on it, and you see I haven't deleted any of my character, but this checkerboard that you see in the background, this checkerboard means it's clear. So 70 worked for me. You might find a different number works for you. The more you put it, the more it selects. You want to make sure it gets as much as possible without getting your actual character. I'm going to hit Control and then the letter D for deselect. And then I'll kind of zoom out. I'll see I got a little bit of a corner over here that's still not deleted. What I can do is I can just select it like this and hit delete. Or what I can do is I can switch over to my eraser tool and kind of make the brush a little bit bigger and just go around and clean that stuff up. But for the most part, you want to use that magic wand to delete most of the area. Again, mess with the tolerance of the magic wand to get more or less of the background. Now I have my character and this background's completely clear. Two ways we could do this. We can paste the background onto this project, or paste your character onto the background. Either way you want to do it. I will do it both ways for you. The first way, I'm going to go to my background picture. You can see my two files are open up here underneath the menu. I'll go to my Acropolis, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control and then the letter A, like for all. And when I do Control A, you'll see it selects the entire picture. That broken dot dashed line is a selection area. I'll hit Control C to copy, and then I'll go to my comic, and I'll hit Control V to paste. So it's Control C to copy and Control V like Victor or victory to paste. You see my layer is, this picture is smaller than my character. That's a good thing. Means that my character is a higher resolution. The picture itself is in front of my character. And if you look at my layer window, now what I want to do is I want to kind of take that layer. I'm going to click on the empty area and hold and drag it down. Now it's behind my character. Still a problem because it is a little bit too small. So to make it bigger, while I'm selected on that layer, I'm going to go up to Edit, Transform, and Scale. Edit, Transform, and Scale. And when I do that, you'll see there's a boundary box around my background layer. And if I click in the corner, I can just stretch that picture out so it fits. I'll set that up. I'll make it fit just the way I want it to look. I think I like that. And then I'll hit Enter. And voila, I've added a background. If you happen to see any sort of static or any sort of like little missed pieces from cutting out your character, if you see that on there, you can always go to the character layer and use the eraser to clean it up. Mine looks pretty clean, so it looks good to go. I will, of course, file save as a PSD. And then if I really, really want to be done with this and I want to have a good copy to submit, the next thing I'm going to do is going to go File, Export As, and I'll export as a JPEG, JPG. And when I do that, you're going to get the Save for Web window here. Format JPEG. These numbers aren't going to matter, but when you see quality, what I'll tell you to do is crank the quality up to 100% and hit Save. And then what you should have in your Downloads folder is you should have a photo version of this, which as a JPEG will open up in any device. You can send it in a text message, you can attach it to a Word doc, you can put it in your photos in your phone. JPEGs are photo files that are universally openable, and you don't need a special program to open it. And that JPEG will be what you submit for the finished part of your project. So you can save the PSD and then export as a JPEG. With that, there's another way you could do this. I'm going to just eliminate my background over here. I'm going to actually delete it and make believe we didn't do that. I've got my background picture, and I have got my Athena. Now to select all of Athena, I'll do Control A to select all, Control C to copy it, and then Control V to paste it. When I paste it on the background here, you can see it's much larger. Now, if that's the case for you, you might want to do it the opposite way, but it matters on the size of the picture that you find for the background and the size of your original photo. To resize Athena, in this case she is now layer 1, I'm just going to go to Edit, Transform, and Scale. And when I go to resize her, if I don't hold down the Shift key, what happens is she'll get very skinny and weird looking. So what I'll do is I'll adjust her. I can move her around. I can make her a little bigger. And when I've decided I have her the way I want her, I can hit Enter. Okay? When you work with the transform option and you hold down scale, if you do it like this, you can see you're like ruining the actual proportions of your drawing. To do this and make it the same, just resize the size, go to scale, and then when you click in the corner, hold down the Shift key, and then whatever you do as far as bigger or smaller, that will keep your character the right proportions. For me, I would recommend that you copy the background and put it into your character, but you could do it any which way that works. Again, whichever way you decide to, make sure that you save it as a PSD, and then make sure you export as a JPEG, and that JPEG will be the final copy that you submit.